Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. So today's video is about Introduction to Implementation Research. It is relatively a new term in health research. However, it has grown largely in couple of years owing to its contribution in maximizing beneficial and positive impact of healthcare interventions. But there is need for more clarity about what exactly is implementation research, why is it needed, how it is used. So let's try and understand that in today's video. So let's first try to understand why is even research on implementation needed. So whenever a project or a program is planned with an intervention, one of the key challenges or issues that is faced, especially in the global health community, is that how to take this proven and evidence-based interventions into real world settings, how to implement them in real world settings. So, despite the existing affordable and life saving intervention, there is still very little understanding of what is the best possible way to deliver these interventions across the full range of existing health system and in a wider diverse settings. So it is said that neglecting implementation challenges or failing to effectively implement an intervention can not only just cost money but also lives. So, therefore, research and implementation is crucial in order to understand the factors and challenges in real world settings, as they will help in implementing an intervention effectively. So let's consider an example. Like we all know that ORT, that is oral rehydration therapy, or consuming ORS, is proven to be effective in diarrhea, right? So, but the challenge here or the issue here is to achieve adequate levels of ORT use in the community. So, what exactly is happening here is on papers, in research, we know that using ORS or ORT is effective in treating diarrhea. But the challenge here is people in the community actually using it, actually knowing how to use it. So, what implementation research do here exactly is it's trying to build this gap, it's trying to bridge this gap that is between the research and the what exactly happens in practice in community. So basically, what implementation research does is it sheds light on these factors, which are the basis for context specific and evidence based decision making, which actually helps in making possible what is in research or what is in theory to turn it into practice, to turn it into reality. So now that we've discussed about why research and implementation is needed, now let's move on to what exactly is implementation research or what is the definition of implementation research. So there are multiple definitions and explanations to it. But what commonly is said to be is implementation research is a systematic, you can say systematic uptake of research findings or evidence-based practices into routine practice. Basically, to make it simpler, it is a gap. It tries to bridge a gap between research and practice, which is also known as the no-do gap. That is what we know in theory, what we know in research, and the do is what is actually or exactly done in practice or in real world settings. So it is also known as the no-do gap. Implementation research is something which tries to bridge this gap. So, the basic intent of implementation research is not only to understand what is working and what is not working, but how and why implementation is going right or wrong and testing approaches to improve it. So, now that we have a basic understanding of why research and implementation is done and what is the definition of implementation research, now we need to understand how implementation research is used. So, particularly, it is important in supporting the scale up of interventions and their integration into the health systems at usually national level or a global level. Too often, interventions that work in a small scale pilot study fail when they are rolled out at a national level or say from country to country or a state to state. Example, like suppose an intervention in an urban setting of say Kolkata is implemented in a rural setup of Chhattisgarh. It may not work. Reason being the contextual differences. So implementation research here not only helps in clarifying that why this has happened, but it can also be used to support the process of reiteration or refinement of the intervention, which is needed for successful adaptation in a different setting. So, to sum it up, implementation research is vital in understanding the context, assessing the performance, in informing the implementation, and in facilitating strengthening of health systems. So, it basically applies the research findings and methods in real world context or settings. So, the outcome of a successful implementation research project would be integration of the research findings in practice or policy. So I hope this video helps you in understanding implementation research at a better level. Happy learning and thank you. Bye bye.